I am Mike CAPRIO, your host for this evening. How would you like to take a thrilling ride back in time and discover the gripping tale of the Big Four of the Central Pacific Railroad? Take a seat, sit back, and get ready for a journey through history. In the late 1800s, a group of visionaries set out to conquer the wild frontier of the American West. These men were idealists, opportunists, and villains. They were the representative men of the Central Pacific Railroad, the Big Four. The creator, Theodore Judah. The lawyer, E.B. Crocker. The politician, C.P. Huntington. The senator, Leland Stanford. The robber baron, Charles Crocker. The manager, Mark Hopkins. They should have been called the Big Six, the two crucial and essential men that history leaves out, the creator and the lawyer. First up, the creator, Theodore Judah, the visionary behind the Central Pacific Railroad. In the early 1850s, Judah became captivated by the idea of constructing a transcontinental railroad. He tirelessly advocated for its establishment, persuading investors and politicians of the immense benefits it would bring. In 1860, his efforts paid off when the Central Pacific Railroad Company was formed, with Judah as its chief engineer. Second up, the lawyer. We have the formidable Edwin Bryant Crocker, known for his unyielding determination. Crocker was the powerhouse behind the Central Pacific Railroad. His unwavering belief in the project's success inspired his fellow pioneers to reach for the stars. In 1863, Crocker agreed to serve as legal counsel for the Central Pacific Railroad, a company run by the Big Four. Next, we have the one and only C.P. Huntington, a man with the knack for making things happen, whether it was negotiating contracts or acquiring the resources needed. Huntington had the Midas touch that made the seemingly impossible possible. Leland Stanford, a shrewd businessman and a true mastermind. Stanford's financial acumen played a vital role in securing the funds necessary to make the Central Pacific Railroad a reality. His brilliance transformed dreams into steel tracks. Now, let's talk about Charles Crocker, E.B. Crocker's brother, the muscle of the operation. Crocker's ability to manage the back-breaking labor required to construct the railroad was legendary. He led an army of workers, including the Chinese, with their expert knowledge of black powder explosives, defying nature's challenges and carving a path through the rugged terrain. Last, but certainly not least, we have the one and only Mark Hopkins. Hopkins was the glue that held the Big Four together. With his keen eye for detail and impeccable organizational skills, he ensured that all the moving parts of this grand endeavor fell effortlessly into place. He would take all advice and instructions from his superiors, then do what was best to advance the project. Together, these incredible men pushed the boundaries of possibility and overcame every obstacle in their path. Their audacious vision and unwavering determination resulted in the completion of one of the greatest engineering feats in history, the Central Pacific Railroad. And on that fateful day in 1869, the final golden spike was driven into the tracks, connecting the east and west coasts of the new Americas. The Central Pacific Railroad had triumphed, forever changing the course of history. Today, As you gaze upon the majestic landscapes of the American Wild West, remember the indomitable spirit and ingenuity of the Big Four. They paved the way for a future filled with countless adventures and untold possibilities. This was the beginnings of the Gilded Age of industry. The United States was in transition from an agricultural society to an industrial way of life.
I am Theodore Judah. I was born on March 4th, 1826 in Bridgeport, Connecticut. I am known for my instrumental role and visions in advocating and serving the route for the first transcontinental railroad in the mid-19th century. At a young age, I discovered the history behind British mining engineer, inventor, and explorer Richard Tretherick. He debuted the first scale working railway and steam locomotive in the Welsh mining town of Merthyr Tydfil, United Kingdom. It was so amazing. After that, I was hooked on the idea, but I dreamed that I could do it better. My passion for engineering and innovation propelled me to envision and champion this ambitious project that would connect the east and west coast of the United States. I attended Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute in Troy, New York, and entered the engineering profession in 1837. Soon after, my colleagues began to tease me and call me Crazy Judah, the prophet of railroad for my enthusiasm. On May 10, 1849, I married my love, Anna Feronia Pierce, at the St. James Episcopal Church of Greenfield, Massachusetts. I was living in wedding bliss and started dreaming and designing my railroad dreams and putting them to paper. By 1856, Anna and I headed back east to Washington, D.C., and I became a lobbyist to continue my work and conduct surveys in the Sierra Nevada. I had to get permission from the Congress. I was looking for federal support from the politicians, and I was denied by Congress by 1860. Southern politicians opposed my efforts and refused me the funds to set my plans into motion. Soon after, they too called me Crazy Judah, prophet of the railroad. I enjoyed that title in college, but I felt resentment coming from those greedy Southerners. I got the interest of some gentlemen dreamers from California and Sacramento, and they asked me to come to California to deliver a speech about my idea. So Anna and I headed out west by June of that year. During one of my speeches, C.P. Huntington introduced himself to me and asked me to take a meet with a group of California politicians at his hardware store with his partner Mark Hopkins. Later that week, they set another meeting with E.B. Crocker, his brother Charles, and Leland Stanford. As the chief engineer of the Central Pacific Railroad, I conducted surveys and determined routes through the mountainsides and through the plains. In 1860, I was a young engineer and they called me the Crazy Judah again, but it felt good again. I identified the infamous Donner Pass in Northern California, and I found an ideal location for constructing a railroad through the formidable Sierra Nevada mountains. By November 2nd, 1863, I was in New York when I contracted yellow fever on my voyage through Panama. I never got to see my dreams of the railroad be built, but my legacy lives on today. I never got to see my crazy dream come to pass, but my dream started the Gilded Age of America. My crazy dream started the technological revolution. And you're welcome. Just don't forget me. I'm the dreamer that made it happen.
I am Collis Potter Huntington. Born on October 22, 1821 in Harwinton, Connecticut, I am known for my instrumental role in the development of the American railroad system during the 19th century. My journey from a modest background to a prominent business leader is a testament to ambition, innovation, and perseverance. Over the course of my illustrious career, my keen business acumen and relentless drive propelled me to the forefront of the railroad industry, forever altering the way people and goods traveled across the country. My father, William, was a farmer, and my mother, Elizabeth Huntington, took care of the family's household needs. Although we, the family, did not have substantial wealth or connections, my parents instilled in me the values of hard work, perseverance, and self-reliance. I am number 6 of 9 brothers and sisters. First there was Mary, Solon, Rhoda, Phoebe, Elizabeth, then me, then Joseph, Susan, and my baby sister, Ellen. My family farmed, and I grew up helping. In my early teens, I did farm chores and odd jobs for neighbors, saving my earnings. At age 16, I began traveling as a peddler. About this time, I visited rural Newport News in Warwick County, Virginia in my travels as a salesman. I never forgot what I thought was the untapped potential of the area, where the James River emptied into the large harbor of Hampton Roads. I married Elizabeth Stillman Stoddard in Cornwall, Connecticut on September 16, 1844. She lived until 1883. We adopted her niece, Clara Elizabeth Prentice, born in Sacramento in 1860. As I recall, Clara Elizabeth Prentice Huntington, as she was called, married Prince Franz Edmund Joseph Gabriel Vitus von Hatzfeld-Weidenberg, but we called him Francis Hatzfeld, of the House of Hatzfeld, Germany, on October 28, 1889. I remarried on July 12, 1884, to Arabella D. Worsham. She brought to the marriage her son Archer Milton Worsham from her first marriage, whom I adopted that year. At 14, he became known as Archer Milton Huntington. There were rumors that I had a longer relationship with Arabella and that I was the biological father of her son. In 1842, my brother Solon Huntington and I, of Oneonta, New York, established a successful business in Oneonta. I was selling general merchandise there until about 1848. In 1849, I saw my opportunity in the new America's West and set out for California, joining the gold rush, hoping to strike it rich like many others seeking their fortunes in the newly discovered gold mines. I set up as a merchant in Sacramento, finally succeeded in my California business. I teamed up with Mark Hopkins selling miner supplies and other hardware. While the gold rush did not bring me the wealth I had hoped for, it did introduce me to a business opportunity that would shape the course of my life and launch the Gilded Age of America. By November of 1860, Mark introduced me to Leland Stanford and Charles Crocker. We attended a lecture of one Theodore Judah, and I asked him to have a meeting at our shop. He tantalized us with his plan called the railroad. Sadly, 3 years later, crazy Judah died of yellow fever. We'd made sure his dreams became our vision, and his wife was well taken care of. Together, we recognized the need for a transcontinental railroad that would connect the West Coast to the rest of the nation. Determined to turn his vision into a reality, myself and my partners embarked on a journey that would require immense resources, strategic planning, and unwavering determination. As one of the Big Six, along with Leland Stanford, Charles Crocker, E.B. Crocker, his brother, and Mark Hopkins, I co-founded the Central Pacific Railroad Company. Together, we played a pivotal role in the construction of the first transcontinental railroad, connecting the east and west coasts of the United States and transforming the nation's transportation infrastructure. Beyond my achievements in the railroad industry, I was a shrewd businessman and entrepreneur, known for my strategic investments and acquisitions. I played a significant role in the development of the Southern Pacific Railroad, reaching Tucson, Arizona on March 20th, 1880, further expanding the reach and impact of the railroad network in the American West. In addition to my business ventures, I was a philanthropist and civic leader, supporting various charitable causes and initiatives that aim to improve the lives of others. My legacy extends beyond business to encompass a spirit of giving back and community involvement. I died August 13th, 1900 at my Great Camp Pine Knot in the Adirondacks and was buried in Woodlawn Cemetery in New York City, New York. Known for my vision, leadership, and enduring legacy in the American West, I am Cowles Potter Huntington, a trailblazer whose contributions continue to inspire generations of entrepreneurs, innovators, and community leaders.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mark Hopkins. I was born on September the 3rd, 1814 in Henderson, New York. I am known for my instrumental role in the construction of the first transcontinental railroad in the 19th century. My journey from humble beginnings to a prominent business leader is a testament to preservation and vision. My father, Mark Hopkins Sr., and my mother, Anastasia Lukens Kellogg, were first kissing cousins. I was around 14 when my father passed in 1828. My father was a postmaster and probate judge in St. Clair, Michigan. Shortly after his passing, I left to be a clerk and raise money to study law. Around 1837, I moved in with my brother Henry. I had a fine job as a bookkeeper and then managed at Rowland and Company. Later, my own firm was called Hopkins and Hughes. On September 22nd, 1854, I moved to New York City and married my first cousin, Mary Frances Sherwood. I was a Congregationalist at the time, and we had a lavish wedding at the Presbyterian Church. Starting with my partnership, C.P. Huntington in sales and supplies, to a chance meeting with Theodore Judah in November 1860. Finding investors with the Crocker brothers, E.B. and Charles. An introduction to Governor Leland Stanford. Mary, my wife, couldn't have children. She was infertile. So we adopted our unwed housekeeper's son, Timothy Nolan Hopkins. Mary knew he was my real son, and she loved him anyway, regardless. She was always wanted a big family. I loved her so much. I wanted to give her the world. Mary wanted a big mansion on Nob Hill in San Francisco in 1875. So we started construction on the hillside. Together with notable figures like Leland Stanford, Charles Crocker, Hollis Huntington, and we co-founded the Central Pacific Railroad Company. Our ambitious goal was to connect the East and the West Coast of the United States through a transcontinental railway, overcoming immense challenges and obstacles along the way. In addition to my contributions to the railroad industry, I was a successful entrepreneur and investor, amassing a significant fortune through strategic business ventures and investments. My keen business acumen and leadership skills played a crucial role in shaping the economic landscape of the American West. I became a Whig, working alongside the Democratic Party, even though I was a Republican, later associated with the Republican Free Soil Party, and an abolitionist in California to end slavery and give back fair wages to the blacks and Chinese in America. I found I liked their company while laying the tracks. known for my entrepreneurial spirit, leadership, and enduring legacy in the American West. I am Mark Hopkins Jr., a visionary whose contributions continue to inspire generations of entrepreneurs, innovators, and community leaders. Traveling on a company car train, I started coughing up and split up blood. I think I contracted consumption but never got it checked out. I died that spring of 1878, March 29th in Yuma, Arizona, working on the train. As I was overseeing the finances of the Southern Pacific Railroad, I passed away in my private car. Buried in Sacramento Historic City Cemetery at the time of my death, my mansion was not completed. Mary finished it, but the earthquake of 1906 burnt it down. Later in 1926, the Intercontinental Hotel Group built the Mark Hopkins Hotel on Nob Hill to commemorate my grand experiment.
I am Charles Crocker. I was born on September 16, 1822 in Troy, New York. From a young age, I was captivated by the possibilities of railroads and the promise they held for the future. After my family moved to Indiana, I quit school to help the family out. I had various jobs like farming, working in sawmills, and serving as an apprentice in a blacksmith shop and foundry. I gained the skills I would need in my future endeavors. By 1849, I left Indiana to follow my older brother Edwin to California. Leading a team of Asian immigrants, I made my way across the Platte Valley in a beeline to Sacramento. By horse and wagon, I traveled with over 100 different kinds of Oriental men and women and discovered foreign foods, spices, herbs, and black magic powder. I saw how they used the black powder in small amounts for their fireworks, and in large amounts they blew up mountains. As I honed my skills in engineering and management, I realized the potential for expansion and growth in the railroad industry. In 1861, alongside my brother Edwin and the other members of the Big Four, we embarked on a journey that would leave an indelible mark on American history. The Central Pacific Railroad Company was our brainchild, a venture that would test our mettle and resolve. Through perseverance and strategic partnerships, we navigated the challenges of building the Transcontinental Railroad. I was appointed Chief of Construction and encouraged my Superintendent of Construction, James Strobridge, to hire 50 Chinese men to start, because it was hard to find the labor we needed that had the skills and stamina for this endeavor. The Chinese men received $27 to $30 a month, minus the cost of the food and canvas tents that we provided them. The Irishmen demanded to be paid more, at $35 a month, plus their food, and some of them slept in the rail carts and the canvas tents also. The Irishmen picked fights with Chinese daily, but there was more of them than the Irish, and they didn't like that. The Irish were the muscle, but the Chinese ingenuity, tenacity, and more importantly, experience with black powder outlasted them. Our construction crews worked around the clock, drilling holes into the mountains and using black powder explosives to clear the way. And after years of hard work, we achieved our dream on May 10th, 1869, as the Golden Spike was driven, connecting the east and west coasts of the United States. I felt a real sense of pride and accomplishment that day. The railroad had become a symbol of progress and unity. There were over 10,000 Chinese workers that day to celebrate our accomplishment. Sadly, on a trip back east to New York around 1886, I was in a carriage accident. I was thrown and never really recovered, and died 2 years later on August 14th, 1888. I was buried in the mausoleum on Millionaire's Row at Mountain View Cemetery in Oakland, California. Hello, my name is Edwin Bryant Crocker. I played a crucial role in the construction of the Transcontinental Railroad.
a project that would change the course of American history. I was born on October 31st, 1818 in Jamesville, New York, to Isaac and Elizabeth Crocker, the first son, later followed by my younger brother Charles. From a young age, I was drawn to the world of railroads and transportation, earning my degree in civil engineering from Rensselaer Institute in Troy, New York. Following that, I ended up practicing law in South Bend, Indiana, which became the foundation of the rest of my career. In 1864, I became the legal counsel for the Central Pacific Railroad, where I worked alongside my brother Charles, Leland Stanford, and Mark Hopkins, or the Big Four as we came to be known. Together we faced numerous challenges, from harsh terrain to financial obstacles, but through perseverance and determination we forged ahead. Our work continued until May 10th, 1869, when the Golden Spike was driven, connecting the east and west coasts of the United States. It was a momentous occasion marking the culmination of years of hard work and dedication. In June of 1869, I suffered a stroke, all those years of stress finally catching up with me. I never fully recovered from it, so I retired, taking up less stressful activities like traveling Europe with my family and collecting art. We turned our home into an art gallery, which continues to exist today as the Crocker Art Museum. I finally passed away on June 24th, 1875, in Sacramento, California, and was interred at the Sacramento Historic City Cemetery. I am E.B. Crocker, one of the Big Four of the Central Pacific Railroad. I played a major role in laying the tracks into the future that led to America's Gilded Age, and left a legacy that spans the ages across the fields of engineering, law, and the arts.
I am Leland Stanford, born on March 9th, 1824, in Watervliet, New York. I am known for my multifaceted contributions to the growth and progress of the United States during the 19th century. My journey from a lawyer to a prominent business leader is a testament to the power of ambition and innovation. In early 1861, I played a pivotal role in the expansion of the American railroad system, particularly through my involvement with the Central Pacific Railroad Company. I was introduced to Theodore Judah and was excited in his plan. His enthusiasm astonished me, alongside notable figures like Charles Crocker, Huntington, and Mark Hopkins. I was instrumental in the completion of the first transcontinental railroad. I helped acquire the financial backing they needed to make this a reality. Later, in Philadelphia around 1862, they designed and made a locomotive and named it after me. What an honor! Beyond my achievements in the railroad industry, I ventured into the realm of education and public service. I served as the governor of California, where I championed progressive policies and initiatives, including the establishment of the first state-funded university in California. The Leland Stanford Junior University was founded in 1885 by Jane and I in memory of our only child, Leland Jr., who died of typhoid fever at 15. After his death around 1884, we were determined that we would use our wealth to do something for other people's children. My wife and I traveled to Hartford University to speak with the dean. We waited in his office. His secretary was not very cordial with us. We waited all day and finally got to speak with him. We told him we wanted to build a building and name it after our son. He scoffed at us and said, "Do you know how much a building will cost? It will be at least $1 million. We said, "Is that all? Well, we'll build our own university." So in 1885, I founded Stanford University in memory of my son, Leland Stanford Jr., with a vision to create a world-class institution that would foster innovation, research, and academic excellence. Today, Stanford University stands as a testament to my enduring legacy in the field of education. I passed away on the hottest day in California that year, June 21st, 1893, long suffering from locomotor ataxia, coughing until my heart failed at my home in Palo Alto, California. They buried me in the family crypt at the mausoleum on the Stanford campus. I grieve to say I left my wife with a chaotic mess, and she joined me soon after, poisoned by strychnine by my Dean of Administration for control of the school. She never got justice, and he got away with it. She is now with me and my son, and we will always view the sunset together for eternity. I'm known for my philanthropy, leadership, and lasting impact on the American West. I am Leland Stanford, trailblazer whose contributions continue to inspire generations of scholars, entrepreneurs, and visionaries. So, my friends, let's honor the legacy of Theodore Judah, E.B. Crocker, C.P. Huntington, Leland Stanford, Charles Crocker, and Mark Hopkins. Let's celebrate their audacity, their determination, their trailblazing spirit that forever shaped the American West. Until next time, keep exploring, keep dreaming, and keep chasing the thrill of the unknown. See you on the next adventure. Mike CAPRIO, out.